Hi Divine Rebels, Bohemia here with Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart readings, and today we are doing an ancestor reading. The camera's trying to focus on all the different faces here, so hopefully it's in focus for you. Yes, we always go with our skulls on the ancestor reading, a good time to bring them out. Today we have two of my candles that I love and two of the little skull heads. Yes, so for this reading, I really channeled into, I wanted the ancestors to come through and their opinions on love. That could be applied in a general to personal way for you, and also just heart space, and that ended up being a lot of what they were telling me is heart space. I could literally feel it in my heart chakra, and I'm actually wearing a green shirt right now unintentionally. So yes, I always take a lot of time to really sit in the energy, get the messages and downloads. As I've said in other videos, I really make sure to communicate my intentions to the collective ancestors and ask them to kind of group up as much as possible into the different options, so that people who have similar messages can kind of get a clear message come through. And so I asked them to do so. I'm just putting on some rose essential oil, which is also very heart chakra centered over here, and I'm going to put on a little Aset oil just because I like that protection and those blessings, that energy. Yes, so I am ready. Are you ready? Microphone here at my heart chakra as I put some oil, you might hear that. Let's get into it. Number one, we have, what should we call this one? The serious skull. Number two, we have the skull in a dress. Number three, we have the skull in a suit. And number four, we have the I guess it would be a sugar skull, but I don't like to overly use that because it's so, but we have a decorated skull here for number four. So you might feel different ancestors come through on different ones. Oh, I did get the very clear message that there will be no like hateful ancestors coming through on this reading. They were very serious at one point. I won't say which number because I don't want to affect what people choose, but there was the cards kept flying out, and there was like a representation of certain ancestors that were trying to come through, and basically the collective other ancestors were like, nah, this ain't your thing. So basically, if the ancestors had problems with like racism or xenophobia, homophobia, anything like that, they will not be present in this reading. So if you are coming through for someone that that was an issue, and yes, I do get that. I do ancestor work for a lot of different people. And sometimes I'm kind of standing in the gap and having a whole lot of patience for some ancestors that still haven't healed and are, still a little racist or something, and that's part of working. Sometimes the spirit world goes and works on their own, and sometimes they kind of work through us and with us. Sometimes they're still kind of stuck, right? So if you have any ancestors that you knew were having some severe issues like that, they weren't really in a good way, they will not be coming through in this reading. You might check another reading to see if they communicate, because sometimes to their own descendants they're still helpful to you even if they had their issues, right? But that was a big message. They will not be on this one. This is heart-centered. These will be your ancestors who had a very good developed heart chakra, who were in a good way, that were loving beings to all beings, kind of ancestors. Those will be the ones that will come through on this particular video on these messages. Okay, so for some people you're like, shoot, that's gonna be way back. It might be 10 generations back that some of these messages are coming for you then. But that's that'll be that. You'll be able to connect with some good ancestors somewhere. Okay, so yes, our options 1, 2, 3, and 4, and let's get into it. Let's see what the ancestors have to say. I hear Witchy Pup over there growling around in the other room. That's her pouting growl. I don't think she likes their mowing out there. I don't think she likes that. Okay, so number one, let's see what you got. I actually really like the cards on this one because I peeped them already, y'all. I do when I watch the ancestor readings because I'm seeing the energy that's coming in. Okay, we have intuition. There's a lot of cards, so I might do them in layers. The moon, So definitely we have either your energy or the ancestor coming through was very, very watery for this group. We have a lot of Pisces and Scorpio, Cancer, and then also maybe some Aquarius. We have clouds, shape-shifting. The skull of stars. Yes, definitely Aquarius, because there was a lot of star aspects. I remember that. We have aquamarine, courage, and the throat chakra. So you definitely might be Pisces or February born Aquarius. Yes, we have necklace. And she has a necklace there. Necklaces and diadems I was seeing as being a big thing. If you watch the Business and Pleasure, which will be, I'm uploading it now, or just about to upload, I'm editing it now, you might have chosen the one that was the necklace shell, and that's here. But there's a thing about I don't know if some of you inherited a necklace or like a headpiece, or it's just the guidance to make sure that you are protecting those areas. You can really empower yourself by, especially with aquamarine, because that's a stone that you got for your communication. Those of you, a lot of you are going to be continuing the gift of being a diviner, of having a lot of psychic insight, of needing to calm your mind as you rest and sleep, of needing to tune into your intuition. And so here we have symbols of the moon, of the stars, and the stone of aquamarine. We also have a white dove as a symbol. So any of those as kind of protective amulets or pendants on your throat, chest, kind of to the heart chakra area, or your like your forehead on a hat or a diadem, or like a little crown or something like that. Could be worn. So see there, she also has the diadem. And we have the mirror guardian, take time to reflect. And again, very Aquarian kind of vibes, as well as water signs. We have the Two of Pentacles reversed. And we have, who says a dread-headed black woman can't play a fairy princess? That's the quote. It's Whoopi Goldberg. These are, it's like the African American wisdom cards, but we can use the quotes for everybody here. So basically, it's kind of like, who says that you, let me see if I can scoot that down a little bit, give you a better view. We have so many cards. We're on the edge with our big, beautiful altar. Who says that you, being who you are, looking how you look, can't fulfill the roles that you want to do in your life? Who says? This also lets me know that this ancestor might have been a bit different. They might have been not quite fit the stereotype of who they were supposed to be in their time. They might have walked, you know, a little path of weird in their own. They have shape-shifting energy, so they might have, you know, maybe at first they tried to fit in with others, and then they decided to claim their own identity in some way. They could have dressed very differently. I'm definitely getting that. I'm getting someone who dressed very creatively, very expressively, someone that was really in tune with spiritual forces and gifts of the moon and stars. Definitely they could have had even if it wasn't officially recognized, they could have had the gift of like astrology, or just knowing the timing of the planets, the eclipses, the moons, and being able to really follow their intuition, so that people kind of feared them a bit, but where they also sought their advice sometimes, or they at least heard what they said, even if they didn't seek their advice. And interesting, because this Two of Pentacles here is about when we don't respect those who are protecting us spiritually, right? The mirror guardian here, that those same people can allow all the whoop ass to come get, which is so funny, Whoopi Goldberg, they can allow the whoop ass to come get us. So there might have been times where they're like, okay, I'm doing all this spiritual protection for, you know, the people and everything, and, you know, no one in the community is respecting me. How about I pull off my protection and y'all see what hits you when I'm not here looking out for you spiritually. So it's very much that kind of feeling of where, you know, they might have been there kind of on the edge of town, holding a lot of space spiritually and energetically, and like, you know, people kind of gave them a tough time, but also knew that they needed them. You know, there could be little stories told about them, little even written down. You know, you might find, I'm seeing this looks like pencils and these look like, over here this looks like pencils, even though that's not the intention of the design. And so I'm thinking that there might even be some things kind of written about them, little folk tales or stories passed through the family or the people who are in the communities. I feel like other people might have stories about this relative, this ancestor, that their ancestors lived in the same town. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, there was this, you know, this witchy person, there was this seer that lived in the town back with our ancestors, and here's some stories that we have about that. Or maybe they're just, you know, they're the side note of seer in someone else's story. Like they're kind of the wise person that pops up in the tales of everyone else, as they say, you know, oh, the marriage would have been lost, but they went to the town seer. And then, so I feel like they're kind of woven into many people's stories. We have the clouds here with shape-shifting. I really feel like they changed up their look. They might have been obscure about like their identity in some way with their appearance. Skull of stars, infinite possibilities, but overall I get a very good feeling. I do feel like maybe a few times they got angry, like I said, and let stuff hit the fan for people. But overall, I think they stuck to themselves and were a bit exclusive. And I think they've taken a lot of time in the star realm, here with the mirror guardian, take time to reflect. And so they stay more kind of as a guide. They might come to you through dreams when you're really reflecting. I'm seeing people scrying in water. We have here scrying in mirrors. So that's why they really encourage you to use those resources of spiritual avenues, because they can really connect through that. And they don't want you to feel that because you're different, because you have gifts, because you don't fit in to the mold. Like I'm seeing some of you don't look like the rest of your family. Maybe you came out way lighter skin or way darker skin, or your hair is different. You're the only redhead in the family, or you're the only one with curly hair or straight hair. Like there's some kind of, you might have something similar with this ancestor that they identify with. Maybe, you know, the class that they were born into, or the gender that people prescribed them, they didn't identify with that. They wanted to dress differently. They wanted to be themselves. And you might relate to that. You might want to change how you dress and not fit somebody else's role. You want to claim space and say, hey, I can have that happy ending that I want. I can live the life that I want. And so there's the courage here. They were someone that was very courageous in being who they are. It was very brave for them in that time. And that's something that they want you to know, is that your possibilities are endless. Don't ever shrink and stop creating yourself because of others. It's like, adorn yourself. Believe in your intuition. Believe in your gifts. Trust that you are a child of the universe, that you are supported, that you are just as loved by, you know, the greater mystical existence as everyone else is. And you deserve to be who you are through all your changes, through all your shape shifting, through all the dark nights. You know, some of you are just very nocturnal. You might be night owls. You might always wake up at the witching hour. You know, that's just kind of, you connect with this ancestor that way. And I want to show you now your bigger cards. It's a very big deck, because we have the Ancestral Path Tarot we're using for this reading, which we're very excited about. We got the Princess of Cups. Look there. See how beautifully cohesive this reading is? Gathering herbs in the moonlight with their own sacred chalice. This card is Morgana, if you connect to like the Merlin mythology. All right, I had to pause for a moment, and I felt to go ahead and add some smudge. I also was getting some downloads. This ancestor says that they are not, for all of you, it's not necessarily the ancestor you asked to come through, because this ancestor, they kind of do what they want. They really have the energy of, like, I'm getting water sign with Aquarius in the chart, okay? They do what they want a little bit. So I think that they, basically the message I was getting from them is that they're a bit more psychically stronger than some of the other ancestors and guides around you. And they just feel like it's their time to push through. Like, okay, enough of this. Like, it's time for you to know some real things, okay? They're like that person in your family when it's really time to discover who had the gifts and the magics and the power, who holds the stories and all of that. This is the ancestor that comes through. I also got, for a lot of you, there's a tie to either a night flower or a purple flower. So some of you, either their name or yours could be like Jasmine, or like I get hyacinth. I've heard people name hyacinth, but that also those flowers could be around you, or they could give you those flowers as a symbol. So the other ones I was hearing were jacaranda, magnolia, gardenia, lilac. Yes, so I don't know if any of you can comment down below if you know a particular ancestor that this connects with, that their name was a purple flower or a night flower, or if you guys connect to those. Maybe you've been seeing moonflowers blossom, all of a sudden you have a patch of moonflowers in your yard, or all of a sudden the neighbors, you notice that they have a jacaranda tree or something, or you've been smelling lilac at night, things of that nature. But it's all about that kind of lunar, under the stars, witching ability. I'm also seeing energy near water. So I don't know if you live near water, but I definitely feel like they lived somewhere that was very near water, a lot of, trees and herbs flourishing, things of that nature, a lot going on with the land. And they were still very grounded and connected, even though, they were so up in the sky, very celestial, they were still very connected to the earth and the water. Now I am seeing too where they lived currently. They are mentioning that I think that or where they lived then, currently some of those trees and stuff might be gone. And I do feel that loss, that they feel a sense of loss, that the land that they love so much has been kind of raised bare, and for some of you. So they might really have that passion, and that might be why they're mentioning all the herbs and the flowers and their night garden and things of that nature, because they were very important to them. So they definitely will care that you really tend to your land, that you pay attention to the medicines of the land, and that you really honor the trees that are around you. And isn't that an amazing thought, that the trees that they pass through, some of them are still around you, because there are some that have weathered through the storm. You might see a very gnarled old tree that looks like it's withstanded many attempts on its life. So yes, there's that connection there as well, which is beautiful. And so the other cards from this deck that I was getting ready to lay down is we have the Four of Sacred Circles here, and we have the Hierophant. And these cards are so beautiful to show that hierarchy that they have, those special gifts. And it's almost like they're going to teach you through your spiritual downloads, through their guidance, things that they haven't yet even handed down to anyone. The Four of Sacred Circles, that's the Four of Pentacles, but in here it's a sacred pipe carrier, right? Carrying the sacred pipe. So it's not just given to just anyone. Some of you might also divine through smoke. You might notice when you are doing things with cleansing or clearing, or with your candle, that you see smoke circles coming, which is like that's good energy, that things are happening in a good way. You might have your other forms of divination that you do. Again, I'm seeing a chalice of water, scrying on even a lake, or watching the water itself, watching it at night. We have the mirror gazing we talked about. Here again, we have divination with smoke. Mugwort could be something when you have certain herbs that help you go into a meditative state. Make sure you do so as is okay by your holistic or your healthcare provider. Okay, use your intuition. But I do think that those kind of mysteries, you might feel like you have someone guiding you. You feel a voice, or am I being guided by the moon? Who's leading me? How did I know what this flower, what this meant? And not only do the plants tell us themselves, they definitely speak and send their energy and let us know what their medicines are, which is why people from different parts of the world who have similar plants will have similar usages for those plants, which is so, it seems so crazy. How could that happen? Because they listen to the medicine in the plants. But I'm also seeing you being guided by this ancestor, and then wanting to pass on. They're going to take you through steps. The Hierophant, they're not going to let you rush ahead. You might get as a matter of fact, you might get the clap sometimes from this ancestor where they say, sit down and listen. You're the Princess of Cups, all right? I'm the Hierophant. I'm the ancestor. You need to listen to what I'm teaching you. You need to go at your proper paces. There's no need to rush. This is something that will be passed down to you, but listen to the wisdom of your ancestors. Listen to what I'm teaching you. Pay attention to the signs and symbols around you, because I'm guiding you, and I want to guide you in a good way. And this is a way that you express love for others, could develop in the way that they express love for others, by empowering them to be their unique self, by passing down your stories, by listening to the stories of others, by paying attention to the medicines that you give, having more holistic, connected to the earth practices, giving that food and medicine to others. All right, so you guys are being charged to be the story keeper of your lineage. Make sure you collect the stories. Make sure you write down all of the insights they're giving you, like your own grimoire or your own collection of memories of all the wisdoms that they are going to be showing to you or that have already been handed down to you. They take that responsibility seriously. And so they're asking that you really honor that and make sure to caretake it. And it's not for everybody. That's what they're saying. They want you to learn kind of the ways of the spirits and magic that they knew. And it's not for everyone to know. It's not. And they want you to hold it close to the vest and to find your own path and your own way. And again, they are giving you this message and this information because you connect and you're more like them than anyone else that has come through the lineage so far. But at the same time, you are your own person and they want you to live. That's their whole thing. They want you to be as well expressed in who you are as you can possibly be. So they definitely watch you like a guide watches. I think for them, quite often they were standoffish in a way. Not standoffish, but they were more like a free-range parent. They let you do your thing and they speak more through, like I said, the more celestial kind of movements or the more mystical kind of things. So the more you listen, the more that they can show you. Definitely take up astrology, learning to divine, things of that nature, herbal work, and they are definitely happy and co-signing if you have already gone into those avenues. They are saying that it's time to get more specific about what you want to do spiritually, as well as what you want to do in your community and for your career. They do think that as much as we are independent and solitary beings, that we should find a way to fit in. And I think that's why they always had compassion on the town that they were in, even though it's like the town didn't deserve them, you know, in some ways. But they always worked on having those bonds anyway, worked on being a nurturer and a carer where they were in their own way, even when they were, you know, furious and, you know, rebelling in their own way against the constraints that society had against them. They still had such a love for community and like grassroots and the local environment and things of that nature. So they want you to learn how to stay and work through things and hold your own place, but also have love for those around you and to give and share, you know, the good medicine that you can, that people are willing to receive from what you do. So this is such a beautiful message. I love this energy. I connect with this energy as well. And yes, I love it, love it, love it. So I'm very grateful for this coming through. You definitely should put something on your altar or make a, you know, an altar remembrance for this ancestor, because they're so mystical. They would love being there on the altar and connecting with you. And I'm sure they will lead you to many other little spiritual things and little things in nature that you can add to that for them and have their energy closer to you. All right, and they might have similar astrological marks. Well, I should say you might have some similar astrological placements that they had back in the day, or you might see that reflected in kind of the ancestry parts of your natal chart. So yes, I'm so happy for this reading. Thank you so much for watching, for connecting. Say how you feel down below, and if this resonates for you, and if this is a totally different vibe. How cool is that they are awakening this energy to you now. I love it. So yes, say how you feel down below. We'll like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you soon, number one. And you did get a skull card. Oh, you couldn't see it because it's down, but I put it up by the skull head here. Okay, all these cards. Yes. Okay, for those of you that chose number 2, that wasn't number 2. Skirt. For those of you that chose number 2, there we go. I'm gonna put this one little lengthwise there. Just rest. let's see what you got. We have a lot of cards over here, so I want to make sure I separate the piles out correctly. Okay. Got all your cards here. Yes, yes, yes. All right. We have gratitude. We have strength reversed. We have ghost, regret, and that was reversed, although I don't always read them reversed. I will acknowledge it so. We have mountains, stand your ground. We have Sarusite, travel, root, and crown chakras. We have, your quote is, "It is a hard thing to live haunted by the ghost of an untrue dream." Oh my gosh, I'm like gasping. You got the ghost card. It is hard to live haunted by the ghost of an untrue dream. Okay, and forgive me, there's a lot of cards, so it's hard to get them all simultaneously in view, but I'll pull them forward as we speak. We got a feather here, fairies and earth magic, and the Seven of Cups reversed. Yeah, that's what it is. This ancestor, you might really feel them around because they dealt with that. They dealt with that for a long time, where they know the loss of not completing what you wanted to complete while you were here, not feeling like you met your goals or that you could figure everything out. Was definitely a theme that they related to. I feel like they give you a lot of signs here. They're still very connected to the earth. As a matter of fact, we have earth sign energy here, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. There's also some Leo energy, but that might be a little bit more hidden. It's there, but a little bit more subtle in their charts. Were we to see their astrology, this could also be signs that connect with you. We have a feather here. I think, yes, that they send you signs that they're around, so you might find feathers. A lot of times there are ancestors and spirits that will communicate to us through them, from the spirit world there. And we have fairies and earth magic, so you have a lot of earth magic energy around you. You might connect to other beings on the earth plane, such as fairies, or that connect to the earth. But I think sometimes you might think that it's the fairies or some other little beings that are around, and it's actually this ancestor. Now we have gratitude. They want you to step into a place of really crowning yourself with more gratitude. You know, if we look, the wings of this fairy are kind of like the wings of a moth, maybe a butterfly, but this fairy is, oh, fairy. This fairy is reminded to be grateful for the flowers. We have pink flowers here, a rose, and I'm not sure what that is. Almost kind of reminds me of a passion flower with those coming up, but if those are significant to you, someone might have their name Rose, or Faye. But it's the reminder that even if it's just one flower, one little blossoming thing, to have joy, have appreciation for that one accomplishment that you have done, to remember that you have been successful in some ways. Because I feel like when you just make the mountains out of the molehills, or you really are facing the mountains of life, if you don't have a deep inner reserve because you're so upset that you haven't made your dreams yet, you never did it. A lot of you have solar plexus kind of things going on, where you don't feel confident in yourself, or you get very upset, like you want to make it big, but then when you don't, you have a deep resentment. You might feel like you, in some ways, you have kind of a confidence or arrogance, but then you can't back it up sometimes, and you doubt yourself, right? We have an eclipse of the sun going on here, and so when that happens, you just end up feeling like you dug your own pit, like you're trying to make this platform to speak forward and get yourself more attention and be heard and create things in the world, but then when it falls through and it doesn't happen, you're like, oh my gosh, someone bury me now, this is humiliating, oh my gosh, like I regret it. Why did I even try? Why did I try to be great? Why did I try to be great? So what they're saying, Sarusite, travel, your energy needs to travel better within your system. So if we look at it in chakras, from root to crown, you have to be balanced, all areas of your life. You can't just focus on only heart chakra, only solar plexus, only root. You have to focus on every area of your life. Or like if you do feng shui, you don't want to just clean like, oh, I'm so into feng shui, but I only clean my kitchen feng shui. The rest of the house is chaos, right? Then you're like, it causes more problems. It's like a blockage. Some of you might even get, I'm hearing blood clots. So some of you might actually have physical blockages that have built up, what colon issues, intestinal things, where things just block up for you, migraines even, right? You just have energy blockages in your body. You might suddenly get cramps. You're just like, oh my gosh, like I just have this Charlie horse in my leg, things like that. Your energy is not flowing purely in your body. And it's because I think you release a lot of energy, or you get it going, and then if you feel like disappointment is nigh, or that disappointment happens, you shut down just on the spot, right? And so that is something that you have to, like this. It's like you have to live tall. You have to let all that energy flow. Some of you might have spine or spinal fluid kind of concerns. Some people might have had to be on IVs lately. So it could really have some health concerns that this ancestor is aware of and trying to help you through. And they're basically saying, look, don't do it the way I did it. Okay, this is also with the Taurus and the earth energy. I've even had this amongst family of my own, where you can work yourself to an early grave. Okay, you can work yourself until you have a heart attack, until something within your body just, a gasket goes out basically. And it's saying you got to ground yourself better. You got to make a stand in life and not just expend yourself, maybe because of others with the strength reversed, because of others' thoughts, maybe because of that own inner voice that is, like we said, that push and pull we were talking about. But it's like you will be a ghost filled with regrets, right? And they don't want you to live that way. They're trying to help you to ease some of their own regrets, right? When we let our ancestors heal us, we heal our ancestors. So they're like, you have to pump the brakes and get things on hold. Either you are chiseling away at the wrong path, like the wrong problem, or the way that you are going about it is not healthy. Okay, does that make sense? So maybe like, and I feel like a lot of this is for the people who are like, well, I'm a good worker, I'm a middle class person, I do what I'm supposed to do, and I work 14-hour days, and I still am there for my family. And they're like, yeah, it's too much. Okay, you have to cut back. You have to allow yourself to live a bit more, and all that resentment, that we know how that is, right? I'm in Iowa, okay? So talk about that kind of Midwestern middle class resentment that builds up in people, and you'll see that, and you will suddenly someone just heart attack, passes away. And there's a lot of different factors, but when people have, such a discontent with their lives, when they've worked themselves into the ground, and they ignore the health of their body, and they never feel like they've reached their dreams, that's a real thing. So this is the biggest warning. I'm just saying, like, warning that you're getting from this ancestor. Now, I'm not saying something's gonna happen, you're gonna be hurt. I'm just saying they're giving their advice and they're handing down wisdom. Look, I should have done it different. And for some of you, maybe you're trying to aspire to be like this person, and you're like, well, if my dad was here, they wouldn't be sitting around, they would be working. Well, what happened? Did they pass early from something happening? Did they not achieve things they actually wanted to do, but only just chipped away at things that didn't give them pleasure? I do feel like this person had happiness. They definitely had a very show quality kind of personality, and they did reach some goals that were honorable, that they were happy about, and they are grateful for their experience here on the earth. There's something about the earth realm that they really, really love, actually, which is probably why they even come through like an earth sign. Very strong, really Taurus and Capricorn, I'm getting the strongest here. But Virgo as well. They could have a little Scorpio in their chart, and as we said, Leo as well. But yeah, they're just like, kind of like help a spirit ease their regrets. Let me know that you're going to take time for life, that you're going to pay attention to the icebergs as much as you pay attention to the mountain, that you're not just going to gloss over things and do hard work and ignore living your life. Now let's see the other cards that we got here. Ooh, this is so beautiful. We have the Queen of Wands. We have the Princess of Sacred Circles, which is the Page of Pentacles. So beautiful. And we have the Prince of Swords. So some other energy, other ancestors that are coming through as well. All right, well, let me let this ancestor finish speaking. They are saying, pay attention to the messages and the example you set for the younger ones. It's very, honorable of you to want to show to be a hard worker, to handle yourself in the real world, to address things in the real world. But, teach them that also, connecting and bonding with other humans is something of value. Teach them that taking time out for affection and community and nurturing yourself and eating right, those things are also of value, of leaving a story behind. I think with this first ancestor that's speaking, they don't really feel like they left their mark the way they thought. You know how some people invest in business or a certain building or something, and they work, but then at the end of the day, it's like it doesn't carry on their name the way they thought it would, versus if they had I don't know. I think this one really wanted to be a bit more creative. I think they wanted to just have more time to have even more stories with their family. Although they're spoken of well and they had a good heart space, they just translated it so much through career and work and kind of providing in those ways that they didn't have as many stories with their family as they wanted. And so that's what they're saying. They're like, be present with your children. Be present. They're like, even if you have to hand make, it's like, that's what they're saying. I wish that sometimes instead of working extra hard to purchase something for my family, to prove that we were living a good life, I wish I would have just taken time and whittled something from hand for that, and put that child on my lap and spent time with them and connected with them in a very real way. Instead of going out and purchasing the best of everything, you spend time making something for the person. Instead of ordering out, you cook a meal together. So these are just different examples because we have a spectrum of ancestors coming in, but those are the gist of the examples that they're giving. So know that they're guiding you. They're very smart with business and stuff, but make sure that you also are giving yourself space for life. And they might kind of block you sometimes if you're trying to rush and force yourself to work and force yourself to just go. They might be the one who says, I actually just saw someone's car not work. Like, you're trying to rush off and work and rush the kids, not pay attention, not move forward, and they're touching the car like, we ain't going anywhere today. Go in the house, sit down, spend time with the kids. And so things like that, where you get very frustrated, right? Like, what's going on, right? You're getting frustrated. I think you've cussed them out sometimes. They've been the cause of certain things that have happened. And they're like, spend time at home, pay attention to yourself, pay attention to your body, connect with people, make some better food, enjoy this earthy realm that you're in. Enjoy it and express yourself. Okay, now we have some of that Leo energy coming in that we were feeling even more so. And this is an ancestor just popping in to say to own your shit, basically. Express yourself, live life, be passionate. That you can be in control, that you can, have all the power and prestige that you want. But if you aren't living your passion, if you are not feeling like you are living from the heart and in your own personal power, whatever you are doing, that you won't have fulfillment. So make sure to live in your power, connected to the things that you are passionate about, and then basically can't nobody tell you nothing. Okay? So that's kind of a very simple message. It's kind of like, get it together. Get that self-confidence together, get that personal power together. And I'm feeling a very calm voice. Is where you're so, when you're just so in sync with your personal power, you don't even have to talk loud, right? You over there on your Snoop Dogg. Right? You didn't even have to put it on big. That's how this ancestor is. They want you to know that quiet power, that power of ownership of self. And they're like, stop playing around about if you should be confident or not, if you should be empowered or not, and just do it. Just do it. Yes. Some of you might be Leo rising. We just had Leo rising baby walk in. Yes. So that is your reading. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment, and I'll talk to you soon. For those of you that chose number 3 with the suit, skull in a suit, looking dapper, okay, let's see what you got here. Something a little stuck to the wax. There we go. Wax on, wax off. Okay, we have a lot of cards over here. And we have thought. We have the Hanged Man. We have the Green Man, synergy. We have a quote from Alice Walker from our quote deck. People do not wish to appear foolish. To avoid the appearance of foolishness, they were willing to remain actually fools. Ooh, that's a good thing to remember. Let us not be foolish by not doing what we need to while we're trying to pretend we're not fools. All right, we have, sorry, I'm like looking at the card. We have the Jack-o'-lantern, protection. Like zone, I've been like, this was definitely a group that was channeling a lot. Well, this whole reading. Fluorite, spirit guides, third eye chakra. We have the Page of Swords. Over here with the Thought card. We'll put that there. It's a small space. We have a big altar, so and we have big cards. All right. So what we got here is a lot of, we have a variety of energy actually this time. We have Scorpio energy, we have Earth sign energy, mostly Taurus I'm feeling. We have Pisces here with the Neptune card, and we definitely have Aquarius and Gemini. Okay, so they might have had a lot of different signs in their chart. And I'm sorry, I'm fiddling with these, but I don't know. They might have had a lot of different signs in their chart, and that's why it was difficult to pick up sometimes. I'm getting for some of you, you're like, is this like you thought that they were your spirit guides before? They're saying some of them, they do come through as like a spirit guide, or when you're asking spirit guide questions, it's this ancestor. They do return back to you often because we have the Jack-o'-lantern protection card, and that's, we light the Jack-o'-lanterns and the ancestors come back. They're also saying thought and Page of Swords. So some of you do automatic writing, or when you're studying and stuff and you're getting these like insights and ideas and guidance, that's from them. They really help. They might speak like that voice from your subconscious there with the Hanged Man card. They're very in sync with what's going on with you, very in your vibe. You might be so used to their energy that you almost read it as part of your own aura. So we have that mix of colors here with the purple and the green fluorite. Yes, and so they help you. They help you not look foolish. They're like, I ain't trying to have my descendant out here looking foolish. How I'm gonna look? You're out here looking foolish. No, no, we're not doing that. Like, spirit guides, move over. I gotta keep my eye on them. Look, and some of you, they're like, oh, that's a ding. Nope. No gold star for that. But it's overall a feeling of love. So I think that they chastise you. They kind of see, look, they see if you're measuring up. There's like a measuring tape. They see if you're behaving, how you're doing. They encourage you to kind of meditate and reflect. So those times where you think you're coming up with stuff, it's really them connecting with you. Yes, so let's see the other card. Oh, I do want to say, some of you have, this is going to get deep for a minute, okay? Some of you have done cutting, or you've tried to commit suicide before. They were the one that was there protecting you and guiding you. They're not going to sit there and hold it over your head. They're not trying to, you know, keep you in that space, but they are acknowledging that they were with you at that time, that they know that that happened, and that they made sure that you stayed here on this earth plane, okay? And they want you here on the earth plane with that Green Man card. They have a very beautiful heart energy. Yeah. They want you here to continue the things that you need to do. And they're like, your spirit's not finished here. They make sure that you're anchored in. Okay. A little comic relief there. We have the 7 of Sacred Circles. So much abundance and blessing. They're saying the wait is worth it. The wait is worth it. You will have a fertile, abundant life. Or maybe some of you, you're checking into that now and you're like, oh, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. We have the Two of Cups, love, affection, romance. And we have the Seven of Swords. Look at that ancestor, smug as hell. Like, ain't you glad I didn't let you destroy yourself? Okay. Didn't I have your back though? Didn't I? Because the Seven of Swords isn't always about someone being sneaky in a bad way. Sometimes someone's stealing those Five of Swords from us to make us sit in those Two of Swords left behind and sit there and have a think. Okay, and put the picture together correctly of what we should be seeing. So this ancestor has really come through. They've really come through. They know how you think. They know how you communicate. They know how to send you the right images and words and signs. Yeah, you feel that? The baby's looking up at the ceiling actually right now and talking. So you might even feel like maybe they're above you when you're sleeping, or that you see their, images in the clouds or messages from above from them. Yeah, you say that? Or you say, who says that? Yes, I definitely think that some of you have clairaudience, or if you're around a psychic who is utilizing clairaudience, they will speak with you. And it's so cute because it's like out of all the ancestors over here celebrating you and joining in, they just have their eye on you. They're the ones, like, it's like if you go to the family party and no one else knows you're hurting or what you're going through, or no one else knows your accomplishments, this ancestor knows, and they see you, boo. And they are out there making sure that the path is clear. They know that good blessings are coming to you, that you have done things that are good, that you try to stay in a good place, in a very pure-hearted place, and they never forget the good parts of you. Oh, my microphone was covered. I hope you heard that. My sweater was over it. But they hope that you never forget the good parts of yourself as well. And you have very much encouragement when it comes to love relationships. And also, they will reveal if someone who's a close friend or love is shady. So trust them and believe them. This ancestor has really been with you through a lot. Here we have this Seven of Swords, but I think quite often people forget that if we're the one in the Seven of Swords stealing away the Five of Swords, that's super good, because we are taking a situation that could be dangerous or violent or backstabbing, and we are diffusing it and leaving the people with the Two of Swords and bringing peace. Steps in. Look at that sweet little smug look. It's like if you were to show up at a party, family reunion or something with all the ancestors. This is the ancestor that just looks at you and sees you even when no one else knows that you're there yet, and connects with you and has your back and can read your moods and just, make you feel visible, like that kind of energy, and really has your back when it comes to things, even things that you might consider are a bit petty, like squabbles and arguments and social dynamics. This ancestor will really be there with you and have your back in, relationship issues and things of that nature. All like this ancestor understands how all these little tiny things make up our connection to our community, make up the greater part of our lives, and how important our relationships are to building a strong foundation for ourselves. So, yes, they definitely have an eye on those around you. They definitely, I think, can pull the rug out from under your enemies when need be. And they definitely love to see you celebrate, see you happy. And, I have this feeling that they would love a lot of offerings, definitely. But at the same time, just your acknowledgement and connecting with them, and just kind of a little smile in their direction when they help you out is something that's very important to them, something that warms their heart. And I think they just really love being close to you and connecting to you in that way. So keep an ear out. They'll send you very clear signs when you're investing in someone who ain't shit, okay? Or when you're investing in someone who is really, really good for your heart. It's gonna be pretty clear. They're either gonna have someone come and tell you all the dirt on this person and reveal it to you somehow, or suddenly you'll just accidentally click on some part of their profile and be like, oh my gosh, what is this? I didn't know they had another child or something. Or, they're going to really do everything they can to bring you together with a person who's really good. So, well, that's what their goal always is, but they're going to really support loving, honest relationships and ones that have a lot of peacefulness and balance to them and equal partners. All right, so that is your reading from your ancestor. I hope it resonated well with you. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let me know down below how this connected with you. Some of you might have an idea of who this ancestor is. For some of you, it would be further down the line, maybe, and you haven't connected before, but just know that they're here with you and watching over you, and very hands on this one. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. To go. Thanking all the ancestors that have come through thus far. Okay, for those of you that chose number 4, this was your skull here. Let's see what cards that you got from your ancestors. This camera's a little wonky. There. Okay. Intention. Ornery. Animal guardian. Trust your instincts. Okay, that's twice. That's twice with instincts. We have instincts and intention. Wow. Healing the heart chakra. The energy of the harvest of wands. We got 2 of them, that's right. Your quote says, first one, what the people want is very simple. They want an America as good as its promise, which is a very, that's a discussion starter, right, at this time. Right, as good as the promise is supposed to be. And then we have, because time has been good to me, I treat it with great respect. And that was Lena Horne. And the first one was from Barbara Jordan. On these. And then we'll add the larger other cards in as we go. Okay. Definitely, we have people who, in this group, very unsettled by the way that the world is today and trying to simultaneously find your space, find, your own little kind of kingdom in the middle of a world that is very destructive, very at war, at best mischievous, at worst downright violent and, genocidal and global warming and all this kind of stuff. And trying to find how this song reminds me of this song we sang in like, what was that, middle school, I think. We had to sing it in the school choir, but it was Hands by, I think it was Jewel. Was it Jewel? And she says, my hands are small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own. And she's singing about how she wishes that she could affect the world and help people, and how we should all be helping each other and don't belittle what I'm able to do with my hands because I'm trying. And it's very interesting because right next to that we have the fist raised, right? And this support, trying to show a hand of support here. So I think there are a lot of you who maybe you've been on the fence about getting proactive and becoming a protector or activist, warrior heart in some way. This ancestor coming through, though, is definitely speaking about that. They're definitely someone who is more kind of on the ground when it came to being involved in what went on in their community. And they didn't let they made sure to enjoy themselves as well, but they didn't let that get in the way of like enjoyment, get in the way of standing up for people and being protective. And they did see it very much as protecting, because we have animal guardian. So they're trusting their instincts. They have this tough side. They will go to battle for people. They could be okay with being mischievous. Here they have that mask on, and putting that, putting on that warrior kind of face to whatever it took to protect the community, protect those that were vulnerable and innocent, right? The Empress protects the children, the land, the animals. We have here protecting the animals. Here we have children, trick or treat. What do we want during trick or treat? We want the children to be safe. We're hoping against hope that everyone is safe in our community, that we're not going to find out, through any horrible happening, that our community is not safe for our children. So, for those of you who may be worldwide, you're probably familiar with trick or treating, but the kids go door to door and knock on the door and ask for candy around Halloween time or Samhain, around that time of year. And yes, so a lot of you, even if you aren't here, you might have similar kind of fears and instability in your countries where you're at, or you might be very aware with what is going on in America at this time. With this quote that came out specifying that this ancestor seems to definitely have had time here, or been connected somehow here. Again, it is a general reading, so it's potentially not gonna fit. But it's kind of like, what side of history would they be on? They would be on the side of history, fighting to protect the innocent, fighting to be a safe haven to people, to unite the people, but willing to be out there fighting the good fight. Okay, because here we have the crossroads, being out there in the street, fist pump raised when these scary things are going on. So it's like this ancestor is very current. They've definitely kept up with the times. For some of you, this is going to be someone who hasn't been passed away that long. Others, it's just, they're a spirit that's very good at tuning in here and keeping up with what's going on. Being very kind of that's their personality. They always had their ear to the street. They were always checking. I'm seeing them checking on elders, checking on people who are pregnant, checking on the children, checking on the animals. Is everyone taken care of? Is everybody safe? I brought you something. Here's some food. Here's some, legumes. I don't know why I'm seeing that, but like, even things like flour, beans, food. Do you have water? Is everyone prepared and taken care of? They were definitely a nurturer. And that's the true energy of the warriors when you go back to, original societies. That was always part of being a warrior, was that you are protecting, you are caretaking, you don't forget who you're protecting or what you're doing. And that's why that fierceness is there, right? That fierceness, like what a parent has for their child, right? That's a different kind of fierceness, right? It's a love. It is this, it's nearly inexplicable, right? Until you have someone who is like a child to yourself, whether they are your own by birth or not, or by DNA or not. Once you feel that and you connect with that, it's on another level. And this is the energy that this ancestor has for you, but also that they have for the times that you are in. And that's what they try to ignite in you. That's what they try to teach you and to guide you. Is, yes, they want you to know how to be safe. They want you to know how to handle emergency situations. They want your instincts to be on point. I was just watching this comedian, and he was talking about, like, he's from the hood in Chicago, and so he was talking about, like, he's so glad that his daughter has a good life. He's like, but am I wrong? Like, I still want her to have a little hood in them, like in her. I want her, if she's playing, to have the common sense to look around and be like, wait, who's that over there are they safe? And that's kind of the world we live in, where we want our children to be safe and to have their fun and be able to do, these community things and holidays and play outside. But we also need them to have good instincts and to have good discernment. And that's what this ancestor really wishes for you. This can also be a message to pay attention to the children around you. Are your children safe? Are you letting some shady people around your children? Who's babysitting your kids? What I'm seeing, schools and institution, just because some of you are paying for private schools or Catholic schools or something or whatever, just because it's more expensive doesn't mean that it's safer or better. So really pay attention to your children. Open up that doorway to communication and let them know, as much as you got that healing hand for them, you'll go to bat for them, that you trust them and believe them. This is how this ancestor is. This ancestor is fiercely protective, a loving parent, a loving community member. Nobody is too small, or like this ancestor doesn't blame victims. It doesn't blame survivors. Doesn't ignore when people say, I've been hurt. There's something wrong in our community. This is the good kind of neighborhood watch. This is the one that says, oh, we're gonna fix it. If something is wrong in our community, we're going to address this, because we should all be living in harmony. We should be living in beauty. But they're not delusional to the point that they are going to have they're going to pretend that they can live in a utopia if there's harm going on around them. Okay, they're going to address it, then everyone can go back, to enjoying their food and their meal, because things are taken care of now and everyone truly is safe. And that is what they're wanting. They're wanting you to be good on your promise. They're wanting the good heart that you're saying that you have, these good works that you're saying that you're doing. They want you to be truly, like, make good on that. You can't be the person who's like, oh, I'm such a good friend, but when someone's getting hurt and kicked out of their house at 3 a.m., you can't go and make sure they're okay and pick them up. Or you got something smart to say that they don't have a home, or they're staying with you too long. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how this ancestor is. This ancestor is like, we're community, we're family. You never talk down to someone who is hurting. You protect. That's your job. You nurture, you protect. You're like family. You work together. You keep loving. This ancestor has active love, right? Compassion has passion in it. It's an active energy. And I love that. I love that. There's respectability, there's boundaries here. They can go off on their own with the wolf instinct here, but they also have a wonderful pack mentality, of keeping everyone safe. Oh, I love this. I can feel this, like, this protective, wonderful feeling, in my heart chakra. Like, have you ever had those moments where there was something that was a bit scary, but like your dog stood up for you or something, or growled, and then you felt like, okay, or any moment, just when someone stood up for you when something was a little scary that caught you off guard, and that feeling that you're not alone. Not only is that ancestor here for you, but this ancestor wants more than that. This ancestor wants you to be that person for other people. You to be the one who can be both nurturing and fierce, right? This empress has a lotus of wisdom, which she's holding very phallically, has a crook for her rulership, and has justice scales and a whip. Okay, she's reclining, she's relaxed with all these sensual things, hearts and grapes and aphrodisiacs, these avocados, the snake of wisdom. But if there is a problem and those justice scales are tipped, she can hop up with that whip in a moment. Okay, in a moment. You don't bring that. And that goes for her whole. The empress isn't just about her house, she's about her land, all around. Here we see harvesting on the land, so they're outside, the children are outside that house. So some of you need to come outside of your bubble. You need to, come outside. Well, my family's okay, but well, for the rest of the world, that's just not how this ancestor is going to lead you. They're like, you want to have that real love, you want to be a good person. There's not going to be any spiritual bypassing. There's not going to be, oh, I donated that one time, or I did this that one time, so I'm fine. No, what does this say? Because time has been good to me, I treat it with great respect. Every moment. Who are you being? What side of history are you on? How much are you loving others? How much safe space are you having? How much are you able, how much love are you putting out? All those kind of things. Intention. Some of you might do a little scrying too in this group as well. It's a little kind of a little side note there. Let's see the other cards here. Yes, yes, the Seven of Wands twice. Okay, so in case anyone had any doubts, Seven of Wands twice. You also have the Tower. In case you're like, maybe, are they really talking about the big issues? Are they really talking about this Tower card is showing how, like, most all religious beliefs and things start right in Egypt, and then we have the Greek on top of that, and then all the way to the Roman, the modern, how it's all there, and how we have to get back to basics and the roots. And also that can be political systems, religions, whatever we have that's no longer serving us in our community, it needs to be blown open, right? That was like that. And then, because look at this card, we have the Ten of Wands. Look at this beautiful parent here with children working, but it's the Ten of Wands. That's a lot. That's a lot going on. And what did I say? This ancestor has shown they care about that. They don't say, well, I have something too, you know, life's hard for me too. They say, sis, let me help you. Let me help you out. You know, do you guys need groceries? What's going on? It's just never a thought. Like, they're taken care of and they have self-respect. So it's not about being a doormat. It's just about how can I help you more? How can we, you know, have ease? How can we, you know, get joy out of others thriving? So it's saying, literally, again, when times are hard for ourselves or others, people in our community, how do we rise up against all odds and tear down those things, those ridiculous structures, and get back to the core basics of who we are, of who our family is, our community is, and restructure this world? Because it's like, otherwise it gets to the point, like we all know, where there's no option. There's no option. And this is about paying attention, having eyes wide open worldwide. Before I started reading this one, I was getting a lot of channeling and downloads connected to like Sudan right now. There, you know, look that up and be aware. There's just like horrific things, and it's so easy, like, I think, you know, this talking about America and this spread to be like, oh well, there's bad stuff everywhere, so, you know, we just want to ignore it. All those other countries have horrible stuff. But it's not every part of every other country is having horrible things happen. Not every other country besides, you know, the Americas and the Europe part are like horrific. We have to individually look at things, and I think that's, your ancestor really breaks things down. They don't say the whole world's bad, it's overwhelming, oh wow, you know, there's too many people in the community that have issues. No, I feel like this ancestor went door to door, walked through the town, and got a lot of pleasure and joy, a lot of respect. You know, how you doing? You know, stop and talk, made time for people, connected. And that's energy that gives you so much life. You know, anyone who's ever truly lived on the land for any of amount of time, when people don't have these ruling oppressions over them, there still can be issues, especially as you're trying to decolonize from modern thought. But there's just this flow. The days seem like they are so long, and that's what your ancestors are saying here. Treat a time with respect. You know, all those hours were precious. All of those hours were times that I could be loving others, taking care of others, finding my own place, having some good quality alone time, you know, tuning in with myself. I think that for this ancestor, their spirituality was in action, was in their passions, that compassion. That they were someone of works, of service to others. They definitely have a lot of fiery energy. Yes, a lot of fiery energy. All fire signs here, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I'm also seeing some Venus energy, so they could have had like a Taurus rising. I'm getting like very strong Venus dominance in some way, like a Venus very well connected in their chart, although I'm not necessarily seeing them being Libra or Taurus, but it's a general reading, so they could be. Their chart, you know, as astrologer, I always pick up energies of what their astrology could have been. But yeah, they're like, that's how you do it. That's how you make a better world. You just keep going. And then everyone in your family does, and then everyone in your community does. No excuses about anyone who, feels that they can't at the moment. No excuses for treating others negatively who aren't able to do for themselves, or who don't heal from trauma the same way you do, or any of those things. And still there's still respect to the right authorities, respect to the right spiritual forces, because here it's saying some religion, spirituality, some ruling authorities need to go. They need to go. Okay, don't just sit there and take what some crooked politician says is what happened to a group of people that are being brutalized, and children. Children. Your ancestor keeps bringing up children. Like, what more needs to be said? When anytime it gets to the point that any group of people, the children, are being hurt, you can always tell by how they treat the defenseless. And once that happens, whatever the excuse was for the war to start or whatever, there's no nobility in that. And that's just the energy I'm channeling from the ancestor here. I happen to agree because I'm very warrior hearted as well, but so it's like, protect those. Have that valor. Follow your instincts. They're gonna the way this ancestor guides you is very instinctual, almost like a quickening in your gut, or a warmth, this like urge to act. They're very yeah, kind of impulsive. Go say hello to that person. Go, and they have a good eye for it. If you're not someone who lives life that way, if you haven't had a very survival life, you might really not understand how a person receiving a smile or being acknowledged as a human being could be life-saving some days, or important. This is how this ancestor will talk to you. Even if you're also in a very dire position, you have that power. I realized that power when I was homeless myself. And I had someone smile at me when I realized, no, I don't think anyone had looked at me for weeks, maybe. I just cried. I went out and I just cried. And I don't think I missed smiling at a person for years after that, right? Because it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm human. That's the beautiful kind of energy this ancestor has. All right? They're looking to see who's safe, and they're looking to see, are you a safe person to be in our community? Eye contact, and do good works. Go help that elderly person cross the street. Don't honk at them. What are you doing? That's kind of the kind of guidance that you're going to hear from this ancestor. you know go take care of that animal. Don't sit there and poison them. What's happened to their habitat? Is there a way that you could be a better neighbor to them now that you're in their space? um I'm just like, kind of this is just what I'm hearing, what I'm getting. Those kind of examples is what they're saying. Just those kind of examples. So yes, they're definitely going to help you through tough situations. They're like, be present. Don't be afraid when disasters hit, when bad things happen. You're somebody who can handle that. Get in the fray. Protect those. And I'm hearing also, have a plan. Have a plan for those around you to have safety. Think about people who are less able than you in every way, that you can be of assistance to. Okay? And okay, we're in this together, is what I'm hearing. So that is your reading. Thank you so, so much for tuning in and checking in with your ancestors. Thank you for coming to this very heart-centered, heart-filled session with the ancestors that we had. I'm so grateful. I learn as I read and connect and channel for everyone else as well. I have things that I'm reminded of, and that my spirit says, yes, that's right. That things that I aspire to in my own spirit and heart. So I really appreciate that, and I love that part of doing readings and healing work. So please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Post down below what you think about this reading. Is this someone that you recognize their spirit? Is it someone a little further down the line? Have you felt this presence around you? Or just whatever you would like to share. And I thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.